If you don't know that theme music, you should know if you're a Hunger Games fan. Next up, we have The Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. This is based on the novel by Suzanne Collins. This is directed by Francis Lawrence. This is the 5th installment in the Hunger Games film series theatrically, but chronologically, this will be the first. This is a prequel to the Hunger Games, and this stars Rachel Zegler, Tom Blythe, Peter Dinklage, Jason Schwartzman, Josh Andres Rivera, and Viola Davis. This is directed by Francis Lawrence from the screenplay by Michael Leslie and Michael Arntz. So the plot of The Hunger Games, the song Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, is this is 64 years before he became the tyrannical president of Panem. And the 18-year-old Coriolanus Snow remains the last hope for his fading lineage. With the 10th annual Hunger Games fast approaching, the young Snow becomes alarmed when he decides to mentor Lucy Gray Baird from District 12. Uniting their instincts for showmanship and political savvy, they race against time to ultimately reveal who's a songbird and who is a snake. This was another one of my most anticipated movies of 2023 because I thought that this actually has some potential for it. And I was looking forward to it because I am a big fan of the Hunger Games films. I know some people aren't, but I am pretty much a fan. This is something I thought was really interesting and I thought was actually quite awesome for it to see. I was interested because it's a prequel and I'm a fan of the films, with my favorite being Catching Fire. Catching Fire is my favorite of the bunch, and so I definitely was interested to see what they were going to do, and this was actually something that I quite enjoyed when it comes to it. I thought for the most part this was a very solid film, and The Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, this was great. I really enjoyed this. Aside from a few issues, I thought this was a really solid prequel that delivered on what it set out to do, that delivered what the promise that it made out to go on. Starting off with the pros is the best thing is the acting. The acting in this movie is good. I thought the film was really strong in terms of what you could play with and with what you could do. I thought that a lot of that was actually very well done in terms of acting wise. The cast in this movie is great. I gotta say, first off, we're gonna talk about Snow himself, because I think that he was really good in terms of what he could play with, and I thought that what the performance was given is absolutely great. And I thought what the performance was given, he did great. Tom Blythe as Coriolanus Snow, I've never seen this guy act before, but I have to say his performance was really strong here as a young Snow. He does feel like that he is giving it his all, but I also feel like he does also really give his incredible performance to what he goes for. He's acting like the Snow that we know, but he also has some likability to it, and I thought that his performance was really good here. I thought he was really good in terms of what you could play with, and I very much enjoy what the acting that he had to give to it, and he really did such a phenomenal job in terms of his performance. I also got Rachel Zegler here, which I know she is the talk of the town this year because a lot of people has been going after her. I think Rachel Zegler is a great actress for what I've seen so far. I liked her in Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I enjoyed her in West Side Story. She does a decent enough job is Lucy Gray. She's great performance-wise, but she's also really good song-wise. And when this movie calls for her to sing, she sings. She's a really strong singer here. And I very much enjoyed her performance in this movie. I thought she was great. I thought she was really good, and her performance, and she really gives it her all in terms of her performance. You also got Josh Andres Rivera, who is the real life love interest of Rachel Zegler, but I thought he was great. You also had Peter Dinklage is fantastic. Viola Davis was great. Jason Schwartzman was awesome. Hunter Schafer was great here. But Viola Davis, I need to go back to her because she has to play evil. When she gets evil, she gets evil. But when she goes over the top, she goes over the top here. And the action sequences and the way this movie feels here, and I think the way that the performances are great here. And I really did enjoy a lot of what this movie had to offer in terms of the world build up and how the rules and regulations of the Hunger Games was playing out. And I really enjoyed what this movie had to offer in terms of what they did when it comes to that. So absolutely, you definitely go exactly where this movie is going to go. And the movie it goes for it. You know, I very much enjoyed that part of the movie, and I thought the way it goes for it, and it's absolutely fantastic when it comes to the world build up, the production design. The movie looks great. This is $100 million. There's not tons of CGI, and there's a lot of practical effects. There are some real locations they shoot on, so absolutely everything does a really good job here. And I really did enjoy the way the movie looks cinematography wise by Joe Williams. Is edited very well. You also have James Newton Howard coming back to do score, which that's a trademark thing because he has done music for the entirety of the films. The songs here are really good, and the soundtrack is good enough. So all of that, I think, is really well done, and I think is really awesome when it comes to the score and technical aspects. And the movie gets intense. It's not brutal, but for a PG-13, it goes there. It goes for it. And by the end of the film, I thought it was a welcoming prequel that deserved the Hunger Games title. And also Francis Lawrence's direction is still great here. Brother, I've seen all of this guy's filmmaking work, and Francis Lawrence is a good director. I Am Legend, Red Sparrow, the Hunger Games sequels. He did regret splitting Mockingjay into 2 parts, but I will say for the most part, he does a great job in what he gives. In terms of my issues when it comes to this movie, I will say the movie in the third act turns to a completely different film. It feels like they had to cut a few things out in the last half, and it goes into a different type of film. So I will say that's one of the biggest issues when it comes to the film, is moments in it where it goes in some very weird, crazy directions that you don't expect the movie to go. That part of things here is a little weird going into it. And I will also say the first 45 minutes are a bit slow. This is where I will agree it is a little lengthy. You could have took at least 25 minutes out of the film, because that's where I feel like some of the exposition and some of the slow pace is kind of there. But I get it, you need that to set everything up and set everything into full motion. So with that, I can definitely see that being a big issue. In conclusion, The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbird and Snakes is actually really good. I quite enjoyed this movie for what we got. I thought the performances were good. I thought the acting was strong. And I thought for the most part this movie did its job. It entertained me. It knew what it wanted to do, and it set out to what it was going to for. This is a film that is actually really well done, and the performances were great. The cinematography is good. So I definitely quite enjoyed what this movie was going for, and this movie is good. I will say this movie is pretty solid and it's pretty good. It's a little long, but at the end of the day, I enjoyed the movie for what we got. It's not perfect, but this was worth my time. And it actually... So at the end of the day, my rating for The Hunger Games Ballad of Songbird and Snakes is gonna be... I'm gonna give this an Epictastic.
Well, that's going to do it for the video that you just watched. If you want to see more, my channel icon is up here. If you want to see more content from me, all my social medias are right here in this end card. I will also leave a playlist and a video here for you to see what the channel is about. As always, acknowledge me, stay Epictastic, join the Epictasticness, and you guys keep it cool.